Hello everyone, RookieMoxon here, and welcome to the team preview for the Week 3 of the Not-So-Casual Pokemon Draft League. This is going to be the team preview where I run down the team and talk about the team that I will be fighting as well. So, for this Week 3 team, we will be taking on Cool Beans and the Thakreen Noivern. I think I said that right, I probably did not. But his team consists of Tornadus Therian, Ogerpon Wellspring, Jirachi Manaphy, Floatzel as one of his two Terra Captains, Floatzel rocking Water, Fairy, and Electric. He's got the Mega Sableye, Politoed, Gligar, Mega Manectric, and Alcremie as his second Terra Captain, rocking Fairy, Fire, and Ground. Now, all in all, a pretty scary rain team, having access to Manaphy, the Ogerpon Wellspring, Tornadus T having 100% accurate Hurricanes in that rain, a pretty good pivot core with Mega Manectric and Gligar if he wants to run that, but Floatzel very powerful in rain, Flip Turn, Wave Crash hitting super hard, so I imagine that this might be a little bit of a difficult week for us, but nothing that we cannot handle. The big thing that I am expecting him to bring, I'm expecting the top four, so the Tornadus, Ogerpon, Jirachi, and Manaphy. I'm expecting Politoed because of the Rain Setter, and I'm expecting Mega Manectric and Floatzel. I have prepared for, that's 7 months. I don't know which one he'll kind of leave behind. He might leave behind the Ogerpon. I don't know if he wants to leave behind Jirachi because I have Dracopult. We're bringing Dracopult, of course. I don't know what he'll decide to leave behind, but I am prepared for just about anything with a few of my fun little tricks this week. But that's going to be that. We are going to be getting into the team, and I've got a little bit of a fun surprise with how I have the team that I'm going to be showing off this week. This took a little bit of preparation, but you could probably already tell a little bit right back there. So we're going to be trying out doing some cuts. So here's the first cut. So our first mon that we are going to be bringing is, of course, going to be Dracopult here. Dracopult rocking Choice Specs. I figured Choice Specs, there's nothing that he really wants to swap into on his team. He has no normal types. So that means that I can just click on that Choice Specs Shadow Ball. I hope that's... There might be a little bit of an echo. I did not really test this. Let me turn down this TV, though. But... live scuff on the fly. So with the Choice Specs, I can just click Shadow Ball. If he does not bring Alcremie, the Draco Meteor is the freest thing ever. If he does have Rain set up, I can just click Thunder for perfect accuracy Thunders, and then U-Turn for, of course, the U-Turn. Speed Prep to be able to outspeed everything on his team, bar any Scarfs, of course. And just maximizing that special attack, just being able to click those, click those Choice Specs Shadow Balls. It's gonna do so much damage. He does not really have any good switch-ins, and I've got a lot of good and I have be able to gain a lot of momentum because of it. If I don't feel like I'm in that good of a matchup, I can always U-turn out and swap around just who I'm going to be going into. So that is going to be our Dracopult set this week. Next up is going to be our Jolteon, our King, our Terra. Terra Ice because of the Gligar, rocking Volt Switch, Alluring Voice, Terra Ice, Terra Blast, and Discharge. Jolteon is going to be basically playing like, hey, I'm fighting rain, I just get to click my electric moves for free, outspeed everything, of course, except for the Mega Manectric. But nothing that we're going to have to threat too much over. The Manectric can be a little bit of a problem. Come in, Lightning Rod, get the special attack boost, Mega, and have so much power. But I'm not going to be too worried about it. Jolteon is just going to just come in, click Volt Switch, maybe Discharge depending on the matchup of like what he has out right there. And if he goes in the Gligar, he dies. Like, he's just straight up gone. So Jolteon here, just a fairly standard Jolteon set, and not much to it really. Don't really need to do much else. It's a Jolteon. I don't need to really get all cheeky. But the cheeky mon comes here with Smeargle. Choice Scarf, Destiny Bond, Rapid Spin, Parting Shot, and Lunar Dance. And the big thing about this is just come in, click Destiny Bond, Parting Shot if I need to. If like, if I decide to leave the Smeargle and like, it's not a favorable matchup, I can just Parting Shot. If he brings the Mega Sableye, then like, I have another workaround for it. But overall, like, Smeargle's here to outspeed the Manectric and Destiny Bond. Because the Manectric outspeeds the Manectric outspeeds every other member of my team except for Dracopult, and I don't want that freely just kind of like pivoting around. So Smeargle's gonna be here to make that stop. I'm not gonna let him have that Manectric be able to pivot around freely. So that's gonna be our Smeargle's role this week, is Destiny Bond Manectric. Lunar Dance is there just in case I want to click it. Parting Shot if I'm not into a favorable matchup, and Rapid Spin just in case I need to get hazards off of my side of the field. So Smeargle's going to be here for a very cheeky reason, and I'm going to be a pretty good fan of it. Next up on the team is going to be the already asleep Dragalge. Dragalge here. Fully defensive Dragalge. With Draco Meteor just to like drop it just in case. But the point of Dragalge here is going to be setting up those Toxic Spikes. Venoshocking for some pretty good damage, even without any investment, with adaptability. If they're poisoned, that's a ton of damage. And phasing with Dragon Tail. Dracopult here, his use isn't going to be like the best, but like with Toxic Spikes up, it's going to be pretty nice getting that chip, just laying the status onto the opposing side, and it's gonna add up. So it's mostly here just as like a dual wall, being able to really like take damage from both sides because we're fighting a rain team. Having just that end-all be-all wall that can resist all the heavy water attacks being thrown our way from both sides, which is why I have a good amount of defense and a good amount of special defense, making great use of the fact that Dracopult is bulky on both of those sides. So we'll see just how Dracopult can fare. How long have I been saying Dracopult? Dragalge. They have so similar spellings. You can't blame me for that. But Dragalge here is going to hopefully be able to do quite well. He might be a sacrifice play after getting up Toxic Spikes, but he might also just be able to drop a Draco Meteor with adaptability boost that's going to do so much damage even without any investment. So we'll see just how Dragalge goes. Second to last on the team is going to be our specially defensive Florges. Basically being able to try and just come in and sit on Manaphy, hopefully. Maybe Tornadus T as well. Just being able to really just take their hits, deal back some respectable damage with the Moonblast, and Wish Pass to Dragalge, or like Dracopult or Jolteon if needed. I was debating on going like more of an offensive, like Calm Mind Florges this week, but I decided against it because of the last member being what will most likely be our main sweeper for the week. Although we'll see what happens with the Dracopult and the Jolteon. But Florges will be able to hopefully put in some work, be able to take those hits pretty well, and hopefully not get absolutely screwed over by a Tailglow Manaphy. And because Pinsir isn't in Scarlet and Violet, hello, welcome to Pokemon Sword. Because this is National Dex format, of course we'll be able to use Pinsir and the Mega Stone, and this is going to most likely be our main sweeper this week, is the Mega Pinsir. Now, the weird thing about this is also just in case they bring the Sableye. Because with the Mold Breaker ability, I can throw a Toxic onto a Mega Sableye, even though they have the Magic Bounce, because the Mold Breaker will ignore it. So with the Mold Breaker ability, of course, ignoring the Magic Bounce, we'll be able to put that Sableye onto a timer. This is in case he brings the Sableye and not the Manectric. I don't know which one he will bring, so I'm preparing for both. And then, of course, Smeargle can just Destiny Bond a different Pokemon. But I'm preparing for both, hoping for the Manectric, but we'll see what happens. And because he has nothing on his team except for the Manectric that can take flying attacks well, except for the Jirachi. Like, he has the Manectric and the Jirachi. I weaken the Jirachi enough, or he just doesn't bring it, but he'll probably bring it, for me to just throw up a Swords Dance and click Return or Quick Attack, depending on if the Pokemon in front of me is faster. So that's going to be Pinsir's job here, is basically unresisted Flying Stab, and just hitting super hard with that Swords Dance, with the Return, and we'll see just how this goes. We're going to hope for 3-0 this week, and we'll just see what happens. So, if you did like just kind of how this was formatted, I'm going to, of course, get better at doing this over time. But if you did like how this was formatted, leave a comment below telling me, like, you know, you could probably do this a little bit better, but, like, I did like how it was, or, like, you could tell me that you hated it, too. I thought that it was a pretty interesting idea. You can still see everything, and you have something more to look at than just, hey, you know, there's just stats. So I hope that you all enjoyed this. Drop a like if you did, subscribe if you're not, leave a comment telling me, like, how I could maybe improve this in the future, and I hope that you all have a fantastic day. I will see you tomorrow for the battle.